Hello and good morning. My name's Michael Day and welcome to the Southwest Snooker Academy here in Gloucester for the second annual Parris Q's Champion of Champions. This is the latest event on the World Disability Billiards and Snooker Tour. It's one of the most prestigious events on the circuit. It's an invitational bringing together champions and the best performing players from the WDBS circuit over the past 12 months. Collectively, the players are going to be playing for the Nick Oliver Trophy, but there are going to be 6 individual events where players are playing in their own disability categories. Like I say, we will talk a little bit more about that as the weekend goes on. We are streaming live here on Facebook all weekend. We've got a session this morning, this afternoon, this evening, and then we're back again tomorrow for the conclusion of the event. So first off this morning, we're going to be concentrating on this Group 6A match for players with learning disabilities. And it brings together 2 of the most consistent players on the circuit. It's Mohammed Faisal Butt versus Michael Busst, 2 players who have won titles on the circuit in recent years. This is going to be best of 5 frames. Every group is playing in a round robin. There's either groups of 4 or there is a group of 3 as well. But this group here is a group of 4. You see that was Mohammed Faisal Butt there. Just tried a long reg to start things off. Here at the table is Mike Busst. Mike won an event in Hull last year, so he has qualified for the event via his triumph in that tournament. As I say, we are on Facebook Live this weekend, so if you do have any questions about the stream or about World Disability Billiards and Snooker, please leave us a message on the live stream, and we'll try and get back to you with an answer to the question. Of course, we'd really appreciate it if you could share the stream. We want to try and get this out as far as wide as we can. WDBS also has a Facebook page, so we'd really appreciate it if you could go over to the page and give us a like and a share as well. That's a good pot there from Faisal, I think's at the table. Referee for this match is David Cook. And as we're probably aware, this fantastic venue to host such a prestigious event here at the Southwest Snooker Academy here in Gloucester. And this is where it all started for the WDBS back in 2015. Hosted the very opening event there, the Open Disability Championship. But in recent years we held the Champion of Champions. Last year we held it for the first time, and we're back again this year. Unfortunately, as you probably have seen online, this is going to be the last time that we're going to hold an event here at the Academy, because unfortunately it's going to be closing down very shortly, which is obviously a big shame for the snooker community, because it's such a fantastic venue. You've got beautiful conditions to play on, brilliant facilities. But as you see there from that shot from Faisal, these are professional sort of templated tables, so this will be a really challenge for the players this weekend, but they can certainly have no complaints about the cloth and the balls and the conditions. So it will be a test for everybody, but this is where the players want to be. So as I mentioned earlier, this is a Group 6A match. There are 2 other players in this group. We've got Michael Farrell and Morandini. They're playing their match on another table elsewhere in the arena. You'll probably just see on the edges of the screen sort of other people sort of coming into view on the live stream. I think we've got another 7 tables going on, so it's really busy in the arena this morning, and it will be for the remainder of the weekend. And throughout the weekend we're trying to feature as many different disability categories as we can, so give everybody an opportunity to play on the live stream, which I'm sure will be a good experience for these players. I don't believe Faisal or Michael played in the Champion of Champions last year, so this might be the first time that they've played on a live stream table, so there might be a few nerves flying about as well. So it's just got a little bit of scrap here, this opening frame. Like I say, both players might be a little bit nervous opening the tournament up, also being on the live stream table, so it's understandable. That's a good shot there from Faisal. That might calm him down a little bit. Unfortunately, not great position on a colour, although the majority of the reds are in the open. Yeah, so obviously felt like having a go at that black. Felt if he potted it, he might have been able to sort of get on the beginnings of a break. Unfortunately, he didn't pot it, and let's see if Michael can settle his nerves down and pot this red. Yes, that's a nice shot. Looks as if he's on the black here into the same middle pocket. And that's another good shot as well. That'll settle him down. This match is best of 5. The matches in groups 6B, 7 and groups 8, the round robin games are best of 7. All the other groups are playing best of 5s except our wheelchair tournament, which is a one-off final match over the best of either 15 or 17 frames, not quite sure, but unfortunately a couple of the players who'd qualified for the wheelchair event were unavailable to come here sort of last minute, so the 2 players, Tony Southern and Shahab Siddiqui, they're going to be playing a longer final, and that's going to be played over 3 sessions. But for all the other groups, the top 2 players in each event will qualify for the grand final, which will take place tomorrow afternoon around 2 o'clock. Yeah, it was a nice pot on the black, but unfortunately that cannon's gone wrong. Not sure if this red that he's looking at on the pink spot actually passes the other red into the middle pocket. I'm sure we'll soon find out. Well, it did, but unfortunately it did lead the white going up towards the bulk end of the table, so it looks as if it's going to be end of break here. He's just going to try and tuck Michael up. Well, actually he did try to take the blue on there, so just trying to nick an additional 5 points. will try and throughout the weekend keep you updated with results and scores and news from the other tables, but all the tournaments and all the results you can actually view on the new WPBSA tournament manager system, which is called snookerscores.net. So if you head over to there, got all the information from all the events this weekend here in Gloucester. It's also got it's got like an archive system as well, so you can look at the players' results, how they've done in other events. It's a really, really good system. So if you want to find out how certain players have been doing recently or how they're getting on this weekend, please head over to snookerscores.net. In the meantime, Faisal got back into the business end of the table, made a break of 8, but unfortunately just find it a little bit difficult to keep control of the cue ball. These conditions will be very different to what they're used to in terms of sort of normal traditional club tables. They might be a little bit slower, the pockets might be a bit more forgiving, so it might take a frame or so for the players to sort of get used to the conditions. Yes, and one of the unique features of the snookerscores.net system is that there's live scoring for the other matches in the arena. So if you head over to the snookerscores.net, you will see how matches are getting on in real time. The referees here do have it's professional setup with the buzzers, and the scores go through in real time. So literally is ball-to-ball updates of how the players are getting on. In the meantime, that was quite a risky red that Mike took on. Has left Faisal half a chance here, but this is a bit tricky being on the side cushion. Yes, that wasn't the easiest of pots. Both Faisal and Michael have virtually owned the Group 6A category over the last few months. As we mentioned, Mike won an event up in Hull at the Tradewell Snooker Centre last year. But since then, Faisal has been has dominated the scene. He's won the last 4 events. He won earlier this year, he won the Northern Classic up in Stockport at Hazel Grove. And he followed that win in the Southern Classic at Justice Snooker Club in Swindon. He also won the Humber Classic back again in Tradewell in Hull, and only a few weeks ago he won the UK Disability Championship event at Barrett's in Northampton, and actually beat Mike in the final. So these two players know each other very well. There's a bit of a rivalry going on between them. It's a friendly rivalry, but these two players are usually at the business end of the events here on the WDBS circuit. Well, that's gave himself 2 chances there, either the double or the treble. The treble's gone in. Not really on a red, so it's probably going to be end of break. It's a nice shot there from Michael. It looks as if he's on the black here, so opportunity to take the lead in this opening frame. Yeah, be disappointed with that there. Lost the cue ball as well. Thankfully for him, though, that he hasn't got position on the red. It's another half attempt at a speculative double from Mike Busst. So whilst this frame's gone a little bit scrappy, we'll just quickly check in how the other matches are going on around the arena. Over in Group 8, which is our deaf players group, we've got Shabir Ahmed, who is obviously he's the king of the deaf group recently. I think he's up to 8 events now. You might have seen him win at the Crucible Theatre in Sheffield back in August when we had the Disability Players Championship. He actually won that event, beat Daniel Blund in the final. So Shabir's here. He's playing Nicholas Cash, who was a winner up in Derby earlier this year in May. It looks as if Shabir might be taking the opening frame. He's 61 points to 23 up on Nicholas Cash. And there's only 25 on in that match there, so it looks as if Shabir's going to take the opening frame of that encounter. Over on table 4, we talked about the wheelchair event is going to be a one-off final match. They're actually going to be playing best of 17, so first to 9 frames. And that's between Shahab Siddiqui and Aslam Abu Baker. I think earlier I accidentally said Tony Southern was playing, so it's not Tony. Tony has won a couple of events this year, but he's not here this weekend. And that's a bit of a close opening frame between Aslam and Shahab, but Aslam's the odd 8 points up, but that frame could go either way still. Over on table 5, we've got our Groups 4-5 event between Mickey Chambers and Daniel Blund. And both Mickey and Daniel were 2 players. They actually met at the Crucible back in August. They played on Free Sports TV. Daniel won that encounter on a black ball shootout, and they're playing each other again this morning. Daniel was just shading the first frame, 33 points to 17, but again, there's a few points on the table, so that could still go either way. The other match in this event, we've got Michael Farrell and Morandini, so that's another Group 6A match. They're playing on table number 6. Over on table number 7, we've got a Group 7 match for players with visual impairments between the undisputed king of Group 7 recently, Nick Neal, who's been undefeated on the circuit for quite a while, since last year, I believe. He's playing Ronnie Allen in Wales's Ronnie Allen, who's chairman of Welsh Snooker. They have met each other a few times recently in finals. They actually met in Newport in the summer for the Welsh Open 6 Reds event. So Nick will be hot favourite again to retain his crown, but stranger things have happened, and we've got the best players here from each category this weekend, so Nick certainly won't be taking any of his opponents lightly. The other 2 players in Group 7 are Gary Gallagher and Mike Gillespie. They're playing on table number 8. And the other match in the Group 8 Deaf group, we've got Blake Munton and Lewis Knowles. And Lewis is the defending champion here. He beat Shabir last year in an absolute epic final. I think the final lasted, it was around sort of like 6-7 hours, but Lewis shaded it 5-4. So that was Lewis's first title on the circuit, so he'll be keen to try and defend the trophy. So it has been a scrappy opening frame between Faisal and Michael here, but whoever wins the opener won't be fussed about that. In reality, I don't think anybody is, as long as you actually get the W next to your name. That's the main thing. And whilst this event is played to a round robin format, where if whoever loses their opening match can still qualify, they'll be keen to get their campaign off to a win. It certainly takes the pressure a little bit off for their second game, which they'll be playing later on today. Just saw the referee Dave Cook just checking to see if Faisal can get through to this red. I think he can, but his options are fairly limited with how close the blue and black were to it. And then, as you see, I think this red just passes the black, so opportunity for Mike to extend his lead. Got a couple of options here. He could take the pink on. I'm surprised he's not looked at the pink. Obviously keen for the black here. Yeah, it's just... see its nerves in the opening frame, getting used to everything. You can see how keen both players are to try and take this opening frame. Yeah, that was decision time there for Mike. I always felt he was going to take the red on purely because he had the green over the bag straight afterwards. But it was a tricky shot down the cushion. So we're still none the wiser on who's going to take the first frame here. There's only 2 points in it as we get to the colours. All the colours bar the green are off their spots as well, so it's not a straightforward opportunity for anybody to win the frame in one visit. And that's a bit of a disaster there for Faisal to leave the yellow right over the pocket. Although, as I say, with the pattern of the balls, it'd be a bit of an effort here from Mike to win it in this visit. And that certainly hasn't gone to plan either. Well, Faisal won't want to see that shot again. I presume he was just dropping the green in. I'm not sure if he was playing the snooker. It's a bit of a strange shot he played there, really. Whatever he was planning on doing, it didn't work out. I think we can see from this opening frame that Mike likes a double or a treble on the table, and quite an unorthodox double that, but extends these to 7. Still requiring brown and blue though, so still very much in the balance, and even more so with that in-off. He'll be happy to see the brown run safe though. And just a safety shot for Faisal. Nice pot from Mike there, but unfortunately the angle he had, it was very tricky, especially on these very quick tables to hold for the blue. It does edge him a little bit closer towards taking this first frame though. He is 7 points up, so he still needs blue and pink. Faisal requires all 3 remaining colours. So Mike is still favourite for this frame, especially where the black is on the side cushion, but it is certainly in the balance. Just covered the potting angle of the blue there with the pink. Faisal took a little pot shot there, a little cross double on the blue, and it's not worked out well. He's clipped the far jaw, and he's left an opportunity here for Mike to take the opener. As I say, he does need the pink as well. He looks as if he's got an angle to come across the table. Yeah, didn't play that well. 12 points up, 13 on the table though. Still an opportunity for Faisal. Wow, as you can see, Faisal hit that horribly thin. He is rather fortunate though that the pink has gone sort of tight to this side cushion. I'm not sure it's something that Mike really wants to play, but he felt as if he had to. Could have played the snooker there, but if he potted it, he would have won the opening frame. He has got away with it. I'm just wondering whether or not Faisal might elect to move the black here. He might have missed a trick there. He could have potentially pushed the pink into the black and got that in the open. Because certainly whilst that black's on the side cushion, Mike is favourite for the frame. Now then, where's this pink going to go? It's gone safe. Again, that's just an example of how quick these tables are here at Gloucester. And whilst the black is on the side cushion, Mike will feel as if these half chance long pots are worth his while. Just making sure that the cube was in the middle pocket, and that's the pink that he needed for the frame. He's taken the black on, I think just for more exhibition purposes more than anything. tried to chip that into the black pocket, but it was a scrappy opening frame, but that won't bother Mike, and he's taken a 1-0 lead. Okay, so we're back for frame 2 here in this match between Faisal and Mike Busst in this opening game here at the Parris Q's Champions. If you missed the opening frame, it's a bit of a scrappy affair, but Michael won it on the pink, so that will settle him down. It is best of 5, so still chance for Faisal to get back in this. As I mentioned there, this event has been sponsored by John Parris, who I'm sure everybody is aware of his fantastic cue making skills. Obviously, cue maker to the stars, isn't he? And we are very thankful here at the WDBS for his ongoing support of this event. I know he came up to the event here last year and spent the weekend with us, and he was delighted with how everything progressed. Also very appreciative to Johnny Fizz of Fizz Thinks 360, who sponsors the WDBS circuit this year. He's another very keen sponsor on the circuit, so we're really grateful to the support and sponsorship that he's shown. We are streaming live on Facebook this weekend, so if you do have any questions, there is a chat box open, so we'd be delighted to answer those questions if we can. And at some point in the future, these videos will also be uploaded onto the World Professional Billiards and Snooker Association YouTube channel. So if you don't get the chance to watch the whole match in one go, you can revisit that at some point when they get uploaded onto YouTube. In the meantime there, Faisal made a break of 12, but strung 4 pots together, so maybe that might just loosen his arm a little bit. Struggled to get going in the opening frame, but so did his opponent Mike. I'm sure as the match carries on, they'll get more comfortable with the conditions. It's just a little bit about the players themselves. As we say at the table here, he's Faisal Butt. He's won 4 events on the WDBS circuit in this calendar year. Plays a lot of his snooker up at Upton Park in London, and he lists as some of his favourite players. Actually, it's sort of a who's who of the game. He was talking to him earlier, and he admires the likes of Steve Davis and Stephen Hendry, and more sort of recent players as Ronnie O'Sullivan and John Higgins, but he admires, he said, all the top players. He respects their games and watches snooker very closely. Mike Busst is 32 years old. He's from Bournemouth, although he's originally from Oxford. Moved to Bournemouth when he was a teenager. He won his maiden WDBS title in Hull last year at the Tradewell Snooker Centre. And he lists his favourite player as Ronnie O'Sullivan, so that's not a bad player to copy off, is it? Mike plays his snooker at the Green Bay Snooker Club in Bournemouth. And I understand that the club is owned by the family of fellow player Warren Ely, who is one of the other 2 players competing in this Group 6A competition. He's actually playing on one of the outside tables as we speak. I think Mike and Warren, they travel up together to these events, and I think they also practice as well. I know they've been putting in the hours for this weekend. For both, it's their first time here. Good signs here from Faisal in the beginnings of this second frame. He's made a couple of good pots and he's established a little bit of a lead here. And that's a terrific shot. Shot of the match so far. He's on the green, so the break will continue. He'll do well to get on a colour from here, though. Although this is a fine effort if it just carries on. I think he can get to this. It's a tricky one, but he's got a shot. Yeah, that was very difficult, even more so on these tables. We'll just quickly have a look at the scores elsewhere in the arena. So over in Group H, Shabir did take the opening frame against Nick Cash, although Nick is 46 points to 18 up in the second frame, so chance perhaps there for Nicholas to draw level. Great shot there for Mike in the meantime. The opening frame of the wheelchair final between Shahab and Aslam, that's still ongoing, although it looks as if Aslam might take the opening frame. He's got a 28-point advantage. Table number 5 in our Groups 4-5 competition. Daniel Blunn, who won here back in 2015, the very first event, and has been winning on the circuit ever since. He took the opening frame against Mickey Chambers, although Mickey's got a nice lead in frame 2, so that could be heading to one frame all. And the other matches in the arena, as soon as we know latest scores on them, we will let you all know. One of the nice features of the new snookerscores.net system is the scoreboard you can see on the stream here. It's also got the average shot time at the bottom of the screen, so that's nice for the players and other people to sort of analyse how quick or how slow they are. As we can see there with the average shot time, both very healthy figures there. Faisal's at 15 seconds a shot, and Mike's at 21. So neither one of these two players hangs about. We're going to see later on this afternoon a match from Group 7, so players with visual impairments between Nicholas Neal and Mike Gillespie. Nick Neal is also one of the most successful and quickest players on the circuit, so it'd be great to have him on the live stream as well later on. Nice pot from Mike there, and it looks as if he is on the black here into the middle pocket. Bit of pressure attached to this though. He knows if he misses it, he's sticking Faisal right into the business end of the table. So then what damage can Faisal do here? It's a nice shot there from Faisal, perfect on the black. He's just inching his way towards his second frame, you feel. Again, that's another nicely controlled shot. You can really visibly see he's a lot more comfortable this frame. Break moves on to 17. Ideal position on the black here. Nice angle to come off the top cushion onto one of these two reds. Yep, just overrun it, but he's got this red into the bottom right hand pocket. Not quite sure if he wanted the cannon there, but it's worked out pretty well. It's this black to get into the 30s. Break moves on to 32. There still could be a few more to come as well. Yeah, you could see he was annoyed there with that, but that was a really nice break of 32. He's 53 points up. In fact, that was frame ball. It would have left Mike requiring snookers. So Mike can still theoretically win the frame, but it's bit of a mountain to climb here, you'd feel. Needs to pot this black because he's 52 down. There'd be 51 available with 3 reds left. And he's missed the black, so Mike now requires penalty points. This has been a really good response though from Faisal, hasn't it? It's a complete opposite performance from what we saw in the opening frame. Spoiled for choice here. He was thinking about getting the rest out for the red into the corner, but that red into the middle will probably seal it. Fails to pot the pink, but I think probably frame assured, although Mike's going to carry on for snookers. 53 down with 43 remaining, so requires 3 4-point fouls in some way. He nearly fouled himself there, but frame's still alive in theory. Faisal's just got to be wary of doing nothing silly here, like missing a red or going in off. Blue and pink aren't in a terrible position for Mike to try and get snookers behind, but he will need a high value colour with one of these reds, and with the black in the bulk area of the table, he might, if he does get the chance to put one of these reds, he might have to pot either blue or pink following that. So he's really sort of long odds for this frame. Now then, chance for Faisal to put this frame to bed. Not quite yet though, although he's not too upset with the outcome of that shot. Same for Mike there. That red could have gone anywhere really, but be very pleased that the frame's going to be prolonged. I'm not really sure why Mike has actually taken a couple of attempts at potting this red. He needs a high value colour off it. As you can see on your screen, the black, blue and pink are all out of contention at the minute, so it might be worth him thinking about moving balls here, which he's actually done there, so that's a good shot. Brought the pink into play. He'll need that if he does pot one of these two remaining reds. That's not good for Mike. Obviously tried to get the cue ball out for the pink, and this looks a really thin cut here. Surely has to pot this pink to keep his hopes alive in this frame. Yeah, it was a real tricky one, that. Might just wait for Faisal to take his turn before he concedes. 52 down with only 35 remaining. Well, he's decided to carry on. And that certainly hasn't helped his cause either. You can see on the screen there that Faisal's average shot time has actually dipped beneath 15 seconds, so that's pretty quick stuff. If you consider on the professional circuit you've got Depchara and New, I think he sort of averages around that time, so pretty quick stuff from Faisal here. And it looks as if that Mike has decided to concede. He did require 6 snookers, so really nice frame there from Faisal, break to 32, and he levels things up at 1 frame all. Okay, so we're back here for frame 3 of this match between Faisal Butt and Michael Busst here at the Parris Q's Champion of Champions, the South West Snooker Academy here in Gloucester. We had a very scrappy opening frame that Mike took on the pink, but Faisal replied with a fantastic second frame effort where he made a break of 32 and he looked a lot more comfortable, a lot more confident with his game. So we're back level here in this best of 5 match. This is a match from the Group 6A competition here at the Champion of Champions for players with intellectual impairments. The other players in this group are Michael Farrell and Warren Ely. They're currently playing on another table elsewhere in the arena. Top 2 from this group will contest the final tomorrow afternoon. At around 2 o'clock, we're hoping all the finals will kick off at the same time. Faisal and Mike have played each other several times recently on the circuit in finals and semi-finals. So both will be hot favourites to meet again tomorrow afternoon. But as we say, we can't discount Farrell or Ely elsewhere. So an opportunity for Faisal to open a little lead here in frame 3. Just overdid that. Another example of how quick this table is. Table number 1 here at the Academy. And because he needed to use the long cue, that caused a bit of an issue for Faisal, and he'll be disappointed that he didn't really make anything off that. It's a little bit hard to tell from this angle whether the black slots into the middle pocket. He's certainly having a look. It looks really tight. If he's feeling brave, he could potentially take it into the yellow pocket, but that's really risky. Although that looks as if that's like his option. Wow, in the end, he's I'm not sure if he's deliberately played that as a shot to nothing, but he's certainly left nothing easy on for Faisal here. Although Faisal himself has gone for a long pot. We'll just quickly check in at the scores elsewhere in the arena. On table number 2, Nicholas did level up against Shabir, so that's 1 frame all. Although Shabir's on a small break in frame 3 and he's in front, so could retake the lead there in our deaf group. Mickey Chambers also, he levelled up against Daniel Blun in our group's 4-5 competition over on table number 5. The other match in Group 6A between Michael Farrell and Warren Ely has seen Michael take the opening frame, so he's 1-0 up. Over on table number 7 in our group for visually impaired players, it's 1 frame all between Ronnie Allen and Nicholas Neal. The other match in that group is Gary Gallagher and Mike Gillespie. Mike has taken a 2-0 advantage. And the other match in the deaf group, Group 8, between Blake Munton and Lewis Knowles, the defending champion. Blake has taken the opener, so he's 1-0 in front. Of course, if you want to keep up to date with all the results elsewhere, please head over to the new tournament manager system, which is snookerscores.net, where you've got some of the tables actually live scoring ball for ball. Head over to there if you want any further updates throughout the weekend. Nice pot there from Mike. That'll settle him down this frame. Perfect on the pink here as well. And he'll know better than most how dangerous Faisal is when he gets his form and gets a run going. So, having watched the last frame, he'll be anxious to put a stop to that as soon as he can. It's probably more to Mike's advantage that the black's gone safe in this frame. As we've seen, Faisal is probably the more free-scoring player of the two. Again, Faisal hit that very thin indeed. Not sure if he's got away with this though. Doesn't look as if that red, that little cluster of three reds to the right of the pink, I don't think that goes into the bottom right hand pocket, so a bit fortuitous to get away with that. A couple of anxious seconds there for Mike as he saw the red drift past the middle pocket. I think if he can frustrate Faisal here and keep him away from scoring opportunities, it's possibly one of the tactics he might sort of employ. We've got a few people in watching the stream on Facebook, so we're very thankful for tuning in and watching us today. If you do have any questions about the event or WDBS, please send us a message in the chat, or you can inbox our Facebook page, which is WDBS, and we'd be more than happy to answer your questions. Well, that was a good effort on the pink. Unfortunately, just found the near jaw. Nice shot from Mike there. Took the more tricky red because it offered positional options. Although he is a bit unfortunate to leave the cue ball there. He's not on a colour, so just looks like a safety. And if Faisal can't get through the gap of the green and yellow, well he can. I was going to suggest that this shot might be a bit tricky, but you can play off that thin and bring the cue ball back into towards the bulk area. Nice double from Faisal. Just got to focus on this blue here. Should naturally come for one of the reds. He's actually played it soft, and yeah, he's just overcooked it. I just thought with the angle that he had, that was perhaps asking a bit too much to hold for the red. I thought he might have used the bulk cushion and come back down. One of the advantages, though, of that shot is he didn't leave Mike perfectly on the red, so straight away, Faisal's back at the table. Yeah, he didn't have much angle to play with there. He needed to get back up to the top end of the table. It's a nice shot there from Faisal with the rest. Looks as if he's pretty ideal on this blue. Just needs to be careful with the pace here. And again, it's just got away from him. Although, just wondering whether one of these two reds goes into the pink pocket. He might have got away with this. I don't think he played at that side. Even if he can pot this red, it's going to be end of break. Oh, he played that very carelessly. He'll be disappointed with that. You could see he was frustrated that he wasn't on a colour, but he played that very, very quick. Now, I presume he can get to this red because Faisal was showing disappointment after it, and well, he can, and it looks as if he's got Well, so he has to be careful. It looks as if... Oh, well, I was going to say he had to be careful, but it looks as if he could get up to the blue. So once again, Faisal hasn't been punished for a mistake that he made. And you get the feeling that frames like this perhaps frustrate Faisal a little bit. You saw the last frame when he's in the balls, he's very competent and he's very happy to hoover the balls up and make a break. But when it's scrappy, he's going for pots and trying to make things happen, which could lead to his downfall. I think it probably did in the opening frame. So you would suggest these frames would suit Michael more than they would Faisal. There's only the blue ball on its own spot at the minute. But you know, sometimes these are the frames that you, when you win them, you remember them the most because you've put a lot of effort into getting them. And they certainly, if you've been sweating over a frame for a good sort of 30, 40, 50 minutes, when you lose them, they really hurt. So these frames are, you know, they are very important in the context of matches. And there's another example there that's you know, pretty poor from Faisal, really. Played that quite sort of carelessly and didn't take much time over that. I'm not quite sure how much Mike's going to make from it, but that's something you probably look at improving on. As it so happened, it did only cost him 1 point. Terrific pot there from Michael. Looks as if he's got a nice angle on the blue here to come down for this red towards the black spot. Yeah, unfortunately, I think he put a little bit of top on that cue ball, and that sort of killed it as soon as it hit the baulk cushion. Just bringing both reds into play there. We've seen that a couple of times from both players in this match so far. They've been hitting balls too thin. I'm just wondering whether one of the factors is the lighting that we have here at the academy. As we said, the conditions are fantastic. So just wondering if that's something the players are struggling with a little bit. So it's a very low scoring frame, but that red and pink for Faisal takes him into the lead. But it is only 2 points, so very much in the balance here. It's a nice escape there from Michael, and acknowledged by Faisal, and he'll be delighted with the outcome. As have we seen throughout the match so far, neither player is shy of taking a double or a treble on. Didn't pot it, but he certainly got second prize as Faisal. So Michael's in another snooker. So Faisal had a few options after Mike failed to get out of the snooker. He, I think quite correctly, went for the red, but he wasn't ideal on a colour. So still only 7 points the difference in this third frame. So that puts Faisal 9 points up with 25 left. But as you see, that's going to be the end of the break. Yeah, that's a good safety, provided there isn't a gap between the blue and pink. Yeah, you can see Mike having to go towards the top cushion here. He's just missed it. So for the third time in fairly quick succession, he was snookered. So these penalty points have played a factor in the frame so far. Wow, that was a bit of an odd shot from Faisal, I must say. "13 points down here. We need all the remaining colours to win the frame, but that's one of them. And Faisal's now in a snooker himself, unless he can hit the thin edge of the brown, which he can't. And now he's missed a snooker, so this cue ball's coming back down. Is it going to hold up in time for Michael? It is. It looks as if he's got an angle to come up for the blue. The referee there just checking, just doing his job, just checking to see if it was a free ball, but I don't think that was ever going to come into play. So opportunity now for Michael Busst to counter-attack. Just hit that on the thick side, so cue ball hasn't travelled up as far as what he would have liked. And that caused problems on the blue. It was a lot thinner than what was ideal. But he is well back into the frame now, and both players require blue and pink to take the 2-1 lead. Well, Faisal will be very happy to see that blue find the bolt cushion, especially with pushing the pink over the middle pocket. This really is a blue ball game now, you'd feel. And once again, Faisal hit that really thin, but this time it's actually worked to his advantage and the blue has run safe. That's a good reply from Michael. And Faisal will be happy with the return. Well, as we mentioned earlier, both players have attempted a few doubles this frame. Some have been successful, some haven't. There was certainly huge value in going for that, because with the pink over the bag it would have won him the frame. But as ever with a double, if you miss it you are relying on luck to get it safe. Lovely shot from Faisal. Is this cue ball avoiding the in-off? It is. So he just needs this pink, which is over the middle pocket, to take a 2-1 lead. Just got to be wary of the cue ball here, you'd feel. Wow, that's incredible. I'm just wondering whether he was conscious of it being a bit thin where the cue ball was going, but it really wasn't an excuse to actually miss the pink. Luckily for Faisal, it did run safe, and also Michael does need blue and pink and black, so Faisal is favourite, but the referee should be racking the balls up for frame 4, you feel. Great effort there from Michael. Now then, will Faisal make the same mistake again? And he has. You can see his frustration there. That's again unexpected, and this time he hasn't got away with it. And it looks as if Mike is just off straight on this pink, so he could run this through and get to the black on the top cushion here. Where's the cue ball? Wow, that's a disaster for Michael Busst. Pace was good, the direction wasn't. The only good thing is that he is still in the frame. He's now 13 behind with 13 on. As we see there, Faisal take a shot at what would have been frame ball. He's missed it and he's brought the black into play. So straight away, that's to Michael's advantage now. Is he thinking about taking this pink on into the yellow pocket? Very difficult, but could have forced him the respot. Did play it as a kind of shot to nothing. Now where's this cube? There's this pink ball going. Now then, we've been here before this frame. And this probably is the trickiest out of all three pinks. He's close to the bolt cushion. Looks as if he's straight on this pink. Just needs to drop it in, and he makes no mistake. So the trickiest of all three pinks. Faisal doesn't make the same mistake 3 times running. And it was an eventful frame there at the end, but Faisal's taken it, and he's now 2-1 up. We'll be back with frame 4 shortly. Okay, so welcome back to the Southwest Snooker Academy here. We've just got over the drama of frame 3, where Faisal had 3 bites of the cherry on the final pink, but managed to sink it, and he is now 2-1 up after losing the opening frame. It's been a bit of a mixed bag, hasn't it, this match so far? Frames 1 and 3 have been really close and scrappy, both decided on the pink, whilst frame 2, Faisal made a nice break of 32 and really got going. But he holds the advantage at the minute. Needs one of the last 2 remaining frames and he'll get his campaign here at the Parris Q's Champion of Champions off with a victory. As we can see there with the average shot time, Faisal is still averaging just around the 15-second mark, which is very, very quick. And he'll be delighted with that fluke. Now, can he drop this pink and really make that fluke pay? He can, so chance to take early control here in the 4th frame. But he's just lost the cue ball there, so it'll be end of break. So we'll just have a little look at the latest scores around the arena. On table number 2, Shabir Ahmed in our Group 8 game, the Deaf Players Group. He's now 2-1 up on Nicholas Cash, and he's got a small advantage here in frame 4. Over on table number 5 in the Groups 4-5 group, between Mickey James and Daniel Blunt, it's actually gone to a deciding frame. It's 2 frames all, so that's a big frame coming up for both those players, and that group is a really competitive group. It also features David Church and William Thompson, so every frame there could be crucial in that group. A very, very even group indeed. Over on table number 6, the other match in the tournament that we're watching here, between Michael Farrell and Warren Ely, that's 1 frame all. And over on table number 9 in Group 8 match, Lewis Knowles, the defending champion, has levelled up against Blake Munton. That's 1 frame all. We also have the first results of this year's Parris Cues Championship Champions, and it comes in Group 7, so for players with visual impairments. Mike Gillespie has won 4-0 against Gary Gallagher, and Nick Neal, who's been sort of the undisputed king of that group and defending champion, he defeated Wales's Ronnie Allen by 4 frames to 1. So good start there for Nicholas and Mike. And we'll actually be seeing both those players on the live stream at around 2 o'clock. So it's very possible whoever wins that match will be qualified through to tomorrow's final. In the meantime, as we can see, the black's gone safe again in this frame, so there's a bit of scrappiness to this one, which, as I mentioned earlier, could be in Mike's favour. I'm not sure this is easy for Mike to get on a colour. I don't know if he can just avoid the reds. Well, he went into the reds, and he's unfortunate there, really. He was trusting to a little bit of luck, coming thin off the red and bringing the cue ball into the top half of the table. Very difficult the way the colours are at the minute to make any sort of valuable contribution. But that's a nice pot on the yellow there. It's quite unusual, but all the colours here have sort of congregated into the top third of the table. Faisal's just got to maintain his focus here, you feel. He played a couple of shots in the last frame. They were quite rashly played. And thankfully for him, though, he did get away with a couple of them, and the others Mike didn't sort of take advantage of. So That's something Faisal's just got to be a little bit weary of. Another example there of how tight these pockets are. We go to several really nice venues here on the WDBS circuit, but you'll often find that the majority of tables that the players will be playing on will be a lot more forgiving than the ones they're going to be encountering this weekend. And that was an example. Faisal didn't hit that too badly, but it just stayed up. Certainly wasn't easy, that pink. Yeah, he's played that well, managed to get the cue ball out. Now can he pot the black and get it back on its own spot? Unfortunately not. And he has managed to bring the cue ball back into the business area of the table. That's a nice shot there from Michael. But he's just unable to keep the break going. did feel that there's quite a bit of snooker still to be played in this frame, with the position of the not only the reds but the colours as well. Black's out of commission. Blue's off its spot, although that is in the open, and the other balls are in towards the bulk area of the table. Whilst we do have a little lull in proceedings here, if obviously you've been inspired by anything that you've watched today, if you're interested in playing in one of World Disability Billiards and Snookers events, if you feel as if you qualify, please get in touch with us. Like I say, we are on social media. We have a Facebook page, and we're also on Twitter as well. And also please head over to our website, which is www.wdbs.info, where you can find information about all our different disability classifications and categories, and also upcoming events that we have. We usually hold around sort of 10 events a year. We try to accommodate as much of the country as we can, but obviously we have to be conscious of the venues that we go to. So we try and visit north and south of the UK as much as we can. We're also next year going to be the 3rd edition of our Belgian Open over in Bruges that we're looking forward to. But if you want any information at all, please get in touch with us, and we'll be delighted to answer any queries that you may have. And also it was a really good time to say thank you to all our referees and officials here this weekend. As we can see here, David Cook is officiating on this table, and he's also scoring at the same time. But I think we have either 8 or 9 referees here from England and Wales. So we're very thankful for their ongoing support. And it's a difficult job being a referee with players. If you're not at the table, you can take a little break and sit down, but referees have to be on it 100%. So we're very grateful for all their time and dedication and commitment. Terrific pot there from Michael. Unfortunately, the cannon off the blue wasn't too favourable. And another excellent pot on the pink. So he's managed to continue the break. He'll have to pull out another fantastic shot here, but 2 really good visits to the table, and it has just taken him into the lead. It's a good effort. He's just anxious moments to see if that red's past the middle pocket enough, and it has. Just wondering whether Faisal was thinking about entertaining a cross double there. Now this is a lot tougher than it looks. Yeah, he didn't even attempt the pot. It was quite an acute angle, and especially on these tables as well, it was a sensible option to play safe. So we'll just have a quick look elsewhere. Shabir is now 3-1 up on Nicholas Cash over on table number 2. The deciding frame of the group's 4-5 fixture between Mickey Chambers and Daniel Blunt. Mickey Chambers is 29 points ahead with 35 on the table, so it looks as if he's strong favourite to take the win in that match. Well, that would have scored him 3 points in billiards, but unfortunately for him, not in snooker. Well, that's brought the blackout into play. That could be a factor towards the end of the frame. Oh, that's an excellent shot. Shot of the match so far, you'd feel. However, it is only going to score him 1 point. So now's the time. Well, unless he takes this brown on, which he has. Wow, what a shot. That's proved me wrong. Terrific pot there. A couple of excellent shots there from Faisal. Now, can he match it with this yellow? No, he can't, but again, this is nip and tuck, isn't it? Gets him back into the lead, but it's only 3 points. And the colours now are not in bad positions, really. Blue, pink and black are close together. The green's near its own spot. Brown on its own spot. So it's getting a bit more familiar for the players here. Now then, opportunity for Faisal. Needs up to and including the blue to leave Michael requiring snookers. It's a nice pot. Looks as if he's a little bit straight on this brown though, so this is going to be difficult getting on the blue. And he's missed it. And worse than that, he's left it up, so he'd be a little bit upset that he didn't make more of the opportunity. Yeah, we see the referee just getting the scores correct there. So Faisal is 5 points in front, just 3 colours remaining. Well, still needs a pink, but that could be big in the context of this match. So pink for the match for Faisal. Was very difficult, but he did play it with an element of safety, and that's not a bad cue ball really. But where the black is, if Mike does get an opportunity to pot this pink, he could pot the black straight afterwards. So still very much in this frame. And that's an excellent pot on the pink. Unfortunately from the cue balls travel up towards the top end of the table now. Surely he's got to have a go at this black.
Great pink.
This black to level the match at 2 frames all. Just undercooked it, and now what a chance this is for Faisal to seal a 3-1 win, and he's done it. So it's a real sort of seesaw match, wasn't it? We saw in frames 1, 3 and 4 it was very, very scrappy affair. 2 pink ball games and a black ball game there. Faisal made a nice break of 32 in frame 2, got his cue arm going. But he wins, and it's a 3-1 victory for Faisal. But as we say, it's not the end of the road for Michael Busst. This is a round robin format, so he's still got 2 games to try and qualify for tomorrow afternoon's final. But thank you for tuning in. We're going to be back on the live stream at around 2 o'clock, where we're going to be bringing you action from a Group 7 game between Nick Neal and Mike Gillespie. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.